Hi guys! So it's finally summer. Summer has arrived, and that means it's time for ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream in the summertime? It's the perfect treat and it's so simple to make. It really couldn't be easier. And when you make it at home, you get to control what goes in it. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how to make this easy summer treat. Into a bowl, I'm adding 1 cup of milk, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and just a dash of salt, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just gonna whisk it all together, just using a hand whisk until it's completely combined. I want the sugar and the milk to be completely combined together. Once I have it all combined, then I'm gonna pour in 2 cups of heavy cream into my mixture. And again, I'm just gonna whisk it all together with my hand whisk. Once it's all combined, I'm going to place my bowl into the fridge for 2 hours or into the freezer for about 1 hour. I chose the freezer because I want my ice cream right now. Let's be serious, I want it now. I don't want to wait any longer than I have to. So 1 hour in the freezer. Now I'm making Oreo ice cream and mint Oreo ice cream. So I'm using regular Oreos and I'm using the green mint Oreos to make my ice cream. So while my bowl is in the freezer chilling, I am going to place my Oreos onto a cutting board and I'm going to chop them up. What I love about making ice cream at home is that I get to control exactly what goes into it and how much of it goes into it. I love lots of Oreos in my ice cream, so I'm going to add a ton of them. But you do you. Do whatever amount you prefer. Now I have my ice cream attachment set up on my KitchenAid mixer. The bowl has been in the freezer overnight to get nice and cold before I use it. My bowl of cream and sugar that I just made is chilled from the freezer, and now I'm going to stir it up and get any ice crystals and any parts that have started to freeze just mixed back into it. So I'm going to use that hand whisk again and just stir it up until it gets nice and smooth before I pour it into my bowl. Now I'm pouring my smooth mixture into the ice cream bowl and then I'm going to turn it on low speed. And I'm going to leave it on a low speed for about 15 to 20 minutes. I just set the timer on the microwave and I just keep checking it because I'm like a little kid and I like to watch it in the process. And every time I look at it, it looks more and more like ice cream. I just enjoy watching it, but you could go sit down, watch TV for 15 or 20 minutes until it's done. Once my timer goes off, I remove the churning blade thingamajiggy from my bowl and I scrape off any ice cream. I don't want to waste any of it. I want to make sure I get every last little bit of it off because, well, it's ice cream and I'd hate to waste it. Now, I want the majority of this ice cream to be mint, but I do want a little bit of it to be just plain Oreo ice cream. So I'm setting out some of it into another bowl and just putting it off to the side. For the rest of the ice cream, I'm adding in my green mint Oreos that I chopped up from earlier, and I'm just going to use a spoon or a spatula to mix them in. I find it's easier this way than adding it to the stand ice cream mixer and having the ice cream mixer mix it in. I don't know why, I just like to do it this way. So I'm going to add in just as many Oreos as I like, which, as I said before, is a lot. I want every bite to have a chunk of Oreo in it. I'm also going to add just a few drops of green food coloring, just so it has a little bit of a greenish tint to it. But you don't need to add any food coloring, or you can add a lot of food coloring. It's totally up to you. That's the joy of making it yourself. I'm also going to add just a splash of mint extract. Again, add what you like. If you want it really minty, add more mint extract. If you don't like it as minty, don't put any in. Once my ice cream is all mixed together with its toppings, I'm going to scoop it into my ice cream container that's going to go into the freezer so it can harden. I'm adding my mint to one side of my container so that I can add the plain Oreo ice cream to the other side of the container. Now that little bit of ice cream that I reserved earlier in a separate bowl, I'm going to add my plain Oreos to that and I'm going to mix it together by hand. Then I'm going to add this mixture to my container right next to the mint Oreo. And this is how it looks. The mint is a little bit more solid because it was in that cold ice cream bowl, keeping it hard, and the plain Oreo was in a Tupperware dish, so it's slightly melted, but both will get hard in the freezer and look just like ice cream. So I'm going to put a lid on this and off it goes to the freezer. If you don't have an ice cream maker, it's still super easy to make. In a bowl, I'm adding half a can of sweetened condensed milk, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and a splash of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to use a spoon or a spatula and mix it all together. It'll take a few minutes to get it all combined together, but once it does get combined, it's almost like a thick, rich, fudgy, gooey goodness. Now I'm going to cut up some chocolate Oreo cookies because I'm making chocolate ice cream, but I don't want it to be just plain Jane, boring chocolate ice cream. I want it to have Oreos in it. And again, I want every bite of my chocolate ice cream to have a piece of Oreo. So I'm going to chop up a bunch of Oreos and I'm going to chop them up into chunks and then also into some finer pieces, just whatever I like for my ice cream. So you do as many Oreos as you like, or don't put any Oreos in it at all. It's completely up to you. Now in a separate bowl, I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream and I'm going to beat it with a hand mixer until it starts to get stiff peaks. This probably took me about 4 to 5 minutes to do, starting on a low speed and then increasing to a medium speed. Once I see the stiff peaks forming, I add my chocolate mixture from earlier by slowly folding it into my whipped cream. I don't want to lose the air and the fluffiness of my cream, so I do this by folding it together. Folding just basically means scraping from the bottom and moving your spoon or your spatula over the top. If you stir it, just normally stirring, you'll lose all that fluffiness that you want in your ice cream, so you want to make sure that you fold in the chocolate into that whipped cream. Ah, yes, it's time for the Oreos. I'm adding in all those delicious chocolate Oreos from earlier, and again, I'm folding this into my mixture. I want to keep the mixture nice and fluffy and airy, so I'm going to scrape from the bottom and move my spatula over to the top, and just keep repeating that until I get my Oreos nicely combined into my mixture. Once combined, I'm putting my chocolate Oreo ice cream into my freezer tub. And again, I'm trying to stay on one side of the tub as best as I can because I want to put another flavor on the other side of this tub. The other flavor I'm making is peanut butter. So I'm chopping up some mini Reeces peanut butter cups that will go into my peanut butter ice cream. In a microwavable container, I'm adding about 1/4 cup of smooth peanut butter and I'm melting it down just a little bit so it's easier to stir into my milk. So in a bowl, I'm going to add the other half of a can of my sweetened condensed milk and the melted down peanut butter. And I'm stirring it until it's completely combined, and this mixture will be a little bit thick because it is peanut butter. In that same bowl from earlier when we made the chocolate ice cream, I'm going to add in 1 cup of heavy cream, and again, I'm going to beat this until I see stiff peaks forming. Once I start to see the stiff peaks forming in my cream, I'm going to add my peanut butter mixture by folding it in. And once it's all combined, then I'm going to add in my chopped up Reese's peanut butter cups. Now I also had on hand a bag of Nestle Toll House peanut butter and milk chocolate morsels, which is basically it's basically a bag of chocolate chips, but some of them are peanut butter and some of them are chocolate. I'm sure you've seen them at the store. I had those on hand and I thought, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and pour these in as well. So I put a handful of those in my mix as well. Now because this ice cream is not churned, meaning I didn't use an ice cream maker, that means that it's going to be less firm. So I made a little dam with some aluminum foil to try and keep my 2 flavors of ice cream separated in the tub while I poured them in. Then I removed the little piece of aluminum foil and put the lid on my tub and put it into the freezer. So now, a few hours later, I have ice cream to eat. And not just any old ice cream, but homemade ice cream that I made myself that is perfect for me. And I really like these tubs that I purchased at World Market. They were only about $14 and they have different colors online, but at the store I only found green. But I really like them. They do their job, which is to keep my ice cream cold, so they're perfect. So now it's time to enjoy all of that hard work with a scoop of ice cream. Now I like to garnish mine with a little bit of extra topping on top, but you can put whatever you want on top, fudge, caramel sauce, or you can just eat it the way it is, totally up to you. But that's it. That is all that there is to making ice cream. It's such a fun and simple summer dessert, and I hope that you guys liked this video and found a new easy treat that you can make at home. Thanks for watching!